What if I told you there's a place where you can quite literally dig your own fortune straight out of the dirt? Well, welcome to this explainer. We're heading to Murfreesboro, Arkansas to explore one of the most incredible, hands-on treasure hunts anywhere on Earth.
I want you to really picture this for a second. You're walking through a muddy, plowed field. You spot a tiny, shiny pebble. You scoop it up, take it over to a park ranger, and they tell you that you just found a flawless, multi-carat diamond. And the absolute best part, it's yours to keep. Seriously. Crater of Diamonds State Park is the only primary diamond-bearing volcanic pipe in the world that is fully open to the public with a strict finders-keepers policy. Whatever you unearth goes right home in your pocket.
Now you might be thinking, come on, finding a diamond sounds like an impossible dream, right? Well, get a load of this number. Over 37,000. That's how many diamonds have been discovered by completely ordinary people at this state park since it opened back in 1972. We're literally talking about hundreds of diamonds found every single year by tourists, families, and weekend treasure hunters.
So to give you the absolute best chance of joining that lucky club, here is our treasure map for this explainer. We're going to cover the mine's history, how to spot a raw gem, 3 specific hunting methods, essential gear, and some legendary discoveries.
Okay, let's jump right into Chapter 1, the world's public diamond mine. Why in the world are diamonds just sitting in an open field in Arkansas?
It all goes back to something called the Prairie Creek Diatreme. About 106 million years ago, a massive volcanic eruption brought magma up from deep within the Earth's mantle. We're talking over 93 miles down. This magma basically acted like a giant geological elevator, carrying rocks that contained naturally formed diamonds. When it hit the surface, it exploded, leaving behind an 80-acre crater. And today, the park sits right on top of the eroded surface of that ancient volcanic pipe. But this search area itself, it's a 37.5-acre plowed dirt field. So you're not going down into some dark underground cavern. It's an open, sunny, and, let's be honest, often muddy field. The park staff actually plow the soil periodically to bring fresh, diamond-bearing earth right up to the surface. So it's a super authentic, rugged prospecting environment for everybody.
Before we start digging, though, we really need to reset your expectations. Let's move to Chapter 2, Recognizing a Raw Diamond.
If you're out there looking for a perfectly cut, sparkling gemstone like something sitting in a jewelry store display case, you are going to walk right past the real thing. Raw diamonds look entirely different. First off, most are really small, like the size of a paper match head. Even a full 1-carat diamond is only about the size of a green pea, and they don't have those sharp, jagged edges. Because of the intense heat they went through coming up from the mantle, they're actually smooth and rounded. The most common colors you'll find out there are white, brown, and yellow.
It is absolutely crucial to know how to tell a diamond apart from just a regular rock. A lot of beginners get tricked by shiny quartz or flaky mica, but diamonds have this unique isometric crystal shape, which basically means they often look like a tiny, 4-sided double pyramid. But even cooler is their chemistry. Diamonds are naturally hydrophobic. They literally repel water, so they have this brilliant, almost oily or metallic sheen that makes them look super clean, whereas quartz just looks glassy and mica just looks like flat flakes that break easily.
Knowing what to look for is half the battle. Now let's hit Chapter 3 and learn exactly how to get these stones out of the ground using 3 proven methods.
The easiest method, especially if you're a beginner, is surface searching. Remember how we just talked about diamonds repelling water? Well, that creates what's called the mud shedding effect. When a heavy rain washes over the field, the dirt just slides right off the diamonds. So if you walk the rows on a sunny day, maybe 2 to 3 days after a big storm, those clean diamonds act like tiny little mirrors. Their metallic luster just pops against the dark, dull soil. In fact, many of the largest diamonds in the park's history were found just sitting right on top of the dirt.
Now, if you're visiting during a hot, dry spell, you're definitely going to want to try dry sifting. When the soil turns to powder, you just take a small mesh box screen and a hand trowel. Scoop up some loose dirt, give it a good shake, and inspect the gravel that's left behind. It's a beautifully simple, low-effort technique that's absolutely perfect when the dirt is just too dry to clump together. But hey, if you really want to maximize your chances, you've got to be willing to put in the work. The third, and honestly the most productive method, is wet sifting. You carry buckets of dirt from the low-lying areas of the field over to one of the covered washing pavilions that the park provides, which have these great water troughs and sorting tables.
Wet sifting does involve a few somewhat technical steps, but it's super fun once you get the hang of it. First, use a coarse screen on top of a fine screen to wash all the mud away in the water. Then, you take that remaining fine gravel and transfer it to a special round screen called a saruka. You jig it in the water, basically shaking and tapping it. Since diamonds are extremely heavy for their size, the centrifugal force and gravity pull them straight to the absolute bottom center of the bowl. Then, in one quick, swift motion, you flip the screen upside down onto a table. Now, the heaviest material, the apex of the pile, is sitting right on top, just waiting for you to pick through it.
It definitely takes a little practice to get that slosh and tap motion down perfectly. But don't worry, the park rangers are constantly out there in the field and at the pavilions, and they are more than happy to help you refine your technique. They'll even identify your rocks for free over at the Diamond Discovery Center. Of course, to do all this digging and sifting, you need the right setup. So Chapter 4 covers the essential gear and park rules you really need to know before you show up.
Let's be real, you are gonna get dirty. Wear clothes and shoes that you do not mind getting caked in mud. You're also going to want a small shovel, a couple of buckets, a screen set, gardening gloves, and a ton of sun protection and water. There is not much shade out there in that 37-acre field. Now, if you don't own screens or a setaruka, no problem at all. The park runs full diamond hunting kits right at the visitor center.
Also, keep in mind that the park has some strict rules to make sure the hunt stays fair and accessible for everybody. There is absolutely zero motor or battery-operated mining equipment allowed. Everything has to be hand-carried, and wheeled carts, like wheelbarrows, can't exceed a maximum capacity of 6 cubic feet. Oh, and here's a really cool perk. If you run out of daylight, you are actually allowed to take up to 5 gallons of sifted gravel home with you to search through later.
All right, time for the part that keeps people coming back year after year. Let's head into our final chapter, Famous Finds and Realities.
The potential at this park is honestly staggering. Way back in 1924, a massive 40.23-carat diamond named Uncle Sam was found there, and it is still the largest diamond ever unearthed in the United States. And then in 1990, a local resident named Shirley Strawn found a rough stone that was later cut into a 1.09-carat gem. The American Gem Society graded it as D-flawless, 0/0/0 for cut, color, and clarity. The laboratory director literally called it 1 in a billion.
So while that is incredibly exciting, we do need a quick reality check. Most visitors don't just trip over a diamond on their first visit. Statistically speaking, it takes an average of 100 hours of dedicated searching to find a single diamond. It requires a lot of patience, persistence, and a very sharp eye to distinguish that oily metallic luster from the everyday dirt.
But you know what? The thrill of the hunt is exactly what makes this place so magical. Every single scoop of dirt holds a 100-million-year-old mystery. And armed with the right knowledge, the right weather conditions, and the right sifting techniques, you are now completely prepared. So, I leave you with this question. Are you ready to head to Arkansas and unearth a real diamond with your own 2 hands?